Hello and welcome to Talking Content. This is the podcast that helps small business owners, just like you, in the professional services, particularly in property, create content that connects, converts, and stands out. I'm your host, Ellen Bathgate, and in today's episode, we are going to talk all things growing your rent roll using content marketing. Particularly using content marketing strategies that don't cost you any money. I'm going to share with you my personal blueprint for helping to grow my own rent roll that helped me grow my business from the ground up, from starting from zero. And I hope that you'll be able to implement it in your journey as well. So whether you are in property management or whether you're in professional services, you'll be able to use this blueprint yourself because it's really easy to follow and it doesn't cost you anything. So let me take you all the way back to when I was starting my property management business. I started in an area where I had no network, I had no connections, I didn't know anybody, I had zero clients, I had very little capital to get started, and I didn't have a database to get started either. So I had only moved to the area about 6 or 9 months earlier, so I just wasn't connected in the area, but I needed to get landlords fast. I didn't have a big marketing budget that I could work with either, and that made it really challenging because I saw all of my competitors had these big marketing budgets that they could work with, and I didn't really have any money to spend. So I found that really challenging, and in fact, I went for 6 weeks before I signed my first client. And the person I signed as my first client probably wasn't my greatest move. In fact, they were the first client I fired as well once I could afford it. But what I realized over time in those first 6 weeks was that other local professionals in my area had connections to my potential clients. I was looking for people who owned investment properties in my area. And so I started to think about, well, who has access to these people? And it became clear: mortgage brokers, conveyancers, solicitors, accountants, financial planners, tradespeople. These sorts of people had access to my ideal clients. And if you ever think about that in your industry, you might be thinking the same types of people have access to the same types of people you were looking for. And I realized that if I could get access to their clients and their database, then I could grow my business. So I made the decision that I needed to build relationships with these people. And for that process, I developed a little bit of a blueprint that I followed. It was trial and error in the beginning. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to do the trial and error thing. You can just follow the blueprint that I created in this process. So I developed what I call my 9-step referral marketing blueprint. And it went like this. The first step is to list all of the potential referral partner categories. So not just names of people in businesses, but what categories was I looking at? So I would start by categorizing like mortgage brokers, solicitors, conveyancers, financial planners, tradespeople, but particular types of tradespeople. I listed all of those categories. And then from there, I could look for actual individual people and businesses. Something that I found really important was I knew that if I was going to be associated with these people in a public or semi-public way, I had to make sure that they were the right types of people that I'm happy to be associated with. So once I had listed the categories, then I moved into listing individuals. Now, I had heard of a few professional services in my area that I thought I would be happy to be associated with. And so for that reason, I started to list them first. Eventually, I started to list people that I didn't know of or didn't know, but that was my first step, just list all of the referral partners. My second step was to then do a bit more research. So because I knew that I was going to be associated with these businesses, brands, people, I needed to make sure that from a values perspective, we aligned. And there's only so much you can tell from online, but you can start to figure out who these people are, who the businesses are, who the brands are. So that was my second step, just to do a little bit of research, just to make sure that I was happy with who I was going to be reaching out to. Step 3 was looking for common connections. Now, I hate cold outreach. I don't like doing it. You might be cool with it. You might be very happy to just pick up the phone or shoot an email or send a DM and contact anybody. But I don't really feel comfortable with that. That's not my preference. I'll do it if I have to, but it's not my preference. So I would start by looking at who do I know that they also know. Now, social media is fabulous for this. LinkedIn in particular is such a great way of figuring out who do I know that they might know, and could we be connected in some way? If you can find those connections, you can go straight on to step 4, which is ask for introductions. So if you are connected with a common person on LinkedIn, then you can possibly ask that person to make an introduction. So that can be a really nice way to get an introduction. What I find is if you have a mutual connection and you get an introduction, that referral partner is so much more likely to have a conversation with you. So it really helps getting a warm introduction, but it's not a deal breaker. So if you don't have any mutual connections and you can't find any, even with social media, you'll move on to step 5, which is your cold connections. This is kind of like my last resort. So what that means is reaching out to that person completely cold. I am still the type of person who prefers to take that gradually. So if I don't have any connections with them on LinkedIn, I might send them a connection request, send a little note. If there's a reason why you're connecting with them, then I just think it's polite to send a little note with your LinkedIn connection. If you're not on the paid plan, you'll be limited by how many you can send in a period of time. So maybe you can't send a little note, but if you can, please send a little note with your cold connection. For me, if I am going to move conversations from an online to an offline, even if that offline is on Zoom, but like from a social media conversation or an email conversation to an actual real human conversation, then I want some kind of relationship. Quite often, if you've just got an introduction, which is step 4, then you can quite often move from that introduction to a Zoom meeting, to a phone call, to a coffee almost straight away. If not, though, if you've done the cold connection, then you might need to have some interaction with them on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok, whatever platform. If you've done that cold, you might find that you just need to have some interaction with them on that platform before you move into a real life conversation. So you'll just need to gauge that. And each person you interact with will require different levels of connection before you can take that next step and move your conversations to a real human conversation. So you've asked for introductions or you've made a cold connection. Then step 6 is just to take those conversations offline or off social media or off email. It might mean having a Zoom call. It might mean having a phone call. It might mean jumping in your car, going and having a coffee with them. Whatever it is, it's time to actually build relationship with them. And you're ultimately looking for ways that you can create cross-promotion opportunities. So this is not just how can they promote you, it needs to also be how can you promote them. If you are starting a business from scratch, you're not going to have a huge audience to promote these people to, but you probably have a more engaged audience. So if you have fewer than 50 people following you on Instagram, they're probably fairly engaged. If you have 15 people on your email database, they're probably fairly engaged. So even though it might not be a big number, they're probably quite engaged. So that's a real big selling point for you if you're just in that small phase. If you've already got hundreds or thousands on your Instagram or your LinkedIn or in your email database, and you are going to be able to bring more value in terms of numbers, but your engagement might be a little bit lower. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't matter where you're at in your business journey, you will be able to bring some value to these cross-promotion opportunities. And of course, if they have a following, an audience, a database, they'll be able to bring some value to it as well. So let's talk step 7, which is actually planning your cross-promotion strategies. I would start with something simple like guest blog posts or guest newsletter articles in each other's newsletter or blog. That's often the easiest way to go, and it means that you can repurpose something that you've already got. So if you are a client of ours, if we create your blog articles for you, as an example, then you could actually offer to rewrite that slightly and allow your referral partner to publish that article on their blog as a guest blog, and vice versa. They might have something on their website that would be useful for your audience that you could republish as a guest blog on their website. So that could be a really easy way to start. I would encourage you, if you're going to do that, make sure that you each email your database to tell your database that there's a new article on the website and go and read it. So make sure you're doing that. You just need to get eyes on this article. You might also talk about it on social media, send people links to look at the article, because the article's of no real value if you don't get eyes on it. So make sure you're getting eyes on it. But guest blog posts, guest newsletter features, that sort of thing, really easy way to start, very low effort. It means that you can reuse content that you already have, and they can reuse content that they already have without investing a lot of time, especially when the relationship is new. However, if the relationship is either vibing really early and you're both feeling excited about working together, then you probably want to do some collaboration stuff. And that might mean something like co-created videos. You interview them, they interview you, that sort of thing. And that can be a powerful way of being able to upload content that is co-branded, that goes out to both of your audiences. That's really powerful. It does require a little bit more effort because you have to plan a time to sit down and record the video. I would suggest the easiest way to do this is to do it on Zoom, because it means that each of you has your own camera, your own microphone, you're evenly split on a screen, rather than trying to get your camera to capture both of you sitting in the same room at the same time, trying to get the microphone to capture both of you. Unless you have individual microphones, unless you have individual cameras, unless you have a really great studio set up, or maybe you go and use a studio, you're going to find it hard to get good video, good audio balance without doing it on a platform like Zoom. So it's a really easy way to do it. So you can move on to that if you're vibing straight from the start, or if you've done a few guest blogs or guest newsletter articles for each other, then it might be time to move on to creating some videos together. And if you both serve basically the same audience, you can create content that is going to serve both audiences at the same time. And then, of course, if you create some videos together, you want to make sure you promote it. So please ensure that you are promoting any content that you co-create together. And don't just promote it once, promote it multiple times. If you create a 10 or a 15-minute video, clip it up into little bite-sized pieces of video so that you can share it on short-form video, so that you can share it on your social media, and then also have the long form as well. So make sure that you're using it for all it's worth. Step 8 is your follow-up. Now, this is your follow-up of your referral partners. You kind of need to treat these people as though they are leads themselves. My experience was that if I left my referral partners for more than about 6 weeks, if I didn't have contact in more than about 6 weeks, they forgot about me. And it wasn't because I was bad. And it's still an issue here in my current business. I have affiliate partners that I work with who refer clients to us so that we can create their content for them. If I don't have contact at least every 6 weeks, they forget about me. Not because I'm bad, not because I don't offer a great service, not because of any of those reasons, but because your referral partners are busy growing their businesses. Their priority is their businesses, their customers, their own growth. Their priority is not referring people to you. However, if you stay front of mind, they'll just think of you more often. That's just the beauty of staying in contact. So I would suggest that you create a follow-up plan for your referral partners so that you're always in contact with them. An easy way to do this is add them to your CRM. So whatever customer relationship management software you are using, add these people to your CRM. If you want to send them your newsletter each week, fortnight, month, Ask them if that's okay. Otherwise, they're just going to be annoyed and unsubscribe. But ask them if they want to receive your newsletter so that they can see what content you're publishing. You might want to ask to go on their newsletter so that you can see what content they're publishing. You might even reshare some of it. But that's such an easy way. And then whatever CRM you're using, you can probably set reminders to make additional contact with them. And it might be send a little Instagram DM, a little voice message, a little LinkedIn note, just making sure that you're staying in contact with them, not just asking them for business. That's really important. You need to be adding value as well. If you want them to refer people to you, you need to look for opportunities to refer to them. So I would suggest that you add them to your CRM and, if possible, get them on your newsletter list. Now, if we create your emails each week, fortnight, or month, that means they'll be getting links to every blog article that we create and publish on your website for you every single week, fortnight, month, depending on your frequency. So it just means they get to see everything that you're creating, and you're building credibility and trust in their eyes as well. And they have access to a bunch of people who you might want as your clients. Step number 9 in our little referral blueprint is reward. Reward the referrals. That's really important. You need to acknowledge when you receive a referral. Now, in some cases, that might be with a referral fee. Sometimes it might be with a gift. Sometimes it might be with a little note. And sometimes it might be with a phone call just to say thanks. Depending who your referral partners are, they may or may not want to be paid or receive a gift. So I have a particular referral partner that, because of the rules around disclosure in her business, she just prefers not to get a referral fee or a gift. I do generally send her a Christmas gift, just to say thanks for working with me over the years. So, but it's just simpler for her not to get a referral fee. However, I have another referral partner who is highly incentivized by a referral fee. And we actually have a 2-tier affiliate program where once you reach a certain stage, your earning potential as referral fees increases significantly. That works for her. So it's not going to work for everyone, but it works for her. So have a think about what your referral program will be and make sure you implement it. And even if you decide not to pay for referrals, that's totally fine. Make sure you acknowledge them when they come in. If you are struggling to create engaging content for your property management business, I want to give you a gift. Download our free personal brand content starter kit and transform the way your online presence appears. You can visit contentcollab.com.au/brand. Download your starter kit today. Okay, let's talk about actually implementing this 9-step blueprint and how you can use your content marketing strategy to make this so much easier. I feel like the most important part of this whole blueprint is the follow-up. It's that consistent follow-up, as immediate referrals are very unlikely. The first time you meet with someone, they're very unlikely to send you a referral on day one. And this is where follow-up is important. So what you want to make sure you're doing is, if possible, add them to your newsletter list so that they're getting your weekly, fortnightly, monthly newsletter. Make sure that they're getting that. Make sure that you're connected with them on social media. Invite them to follow you so that they're seeing your content regularly. What this does is it puts you in front of them without having to do extra contact. You should still do extra contact, but it just puts you in front of them more frequently. So you can use your content marketing in this way. A couple of other things you want to do when you're considering leveraging your content as part of this referral marketing strategy. So with your social media strategy, obviously you're going to be pushing content out. If we do that for you, that's awesome. If you do that yourself, excellent. But the other thing you want to consider is engaging with their content. So you want access to their audience, right? So why not engage with their content so that their audience sees your engagement? It might be with comments, questions, it might be that you like, it might be that you share, but engaging with their content is a really great way to stay front of mind for them and also in front of their audience. I know I harp on about email marketing, but this is where the value is. The email marketing strategy you have in place is virtually more powerful than the social media marketing strategy you have in place, because emails go straight into people's inboxes, where you are likely to get an open rate that is far larger than the view rate you get on any social media platform. So please be sending emails to your database and get on your referral partners' email databases as well. And when you get their emails, if there's something useful, interesting, something that catches your attention or you think might be useful for your audience, reply to the email. Tell your referral partner that it was useful information. Ask them questions about it. Mention that you're going to share it to your audience. That sort of thing. So make sure that you are emailing, but also get on your referral partner's email list as well. Now, this one might be a little unexpected. It's physical newsletters. You might not really think there's any value in printing physical newsletters, but there can be, especially when you think about any referral partners you have who have physical offices. Maybe you don't have a physical office at the moment or ever, but maybe you've got referral partners or potential referral partners who do. This can be a great opportunity for you to put something that their clients and customers can read while they're waiting in the waiting area. So you might print a physical newsletter, which can just be a beautiful Canva style newsletter that you created using your blog articles, and print that and pop it in their reception area. Now, this actually works for other industries as well. So it might not be your obvious professional services as referral partners, but you might find that your hairdresser is happy to stock them. Your local cafe is happy to stock them. And if you produce them every single month, this is such a good opportunity for you to be visiting those places regularly to update those newsletters regularly. So again, it's just another opportunity to be front of mind for your referral partners. Use the content marketing strategies you already have and repurpose them in this way. So let me step you through the 9-step referral marketing blueprint again, just so you don't forget the steps. Step 1 is list all your referral partners. Step 2 is research the ones that you want to connect with. You need to make sure that their values are in line with yours. Step 3, look for common connections, get an introduction if you possibly can. Step 4 is to ask for the introduction if you can. Step 5 is just to connect with them cold. That's your last resort if you need to. Step 6 is take those conversations offline, or at least make them personal, one-on-one. Step 7 is plan out your cross-promotion strategies. Step 8, follow up. And remember, this is where you use your content strategy as part of that follow-up plan. Step 9 is reward those referrals, or at least thank them. Whether you have a big business or a small business, implementing a strategy like this helps you to build your brand, grow your credibility, and ultimately attract new clients into your business. And that's ultimately what we all want. If you haven't downloaded my free personal brand content starter kit for property managers, please head to contentcollab.com.au/brand and download that today. Now, if you are not in property management and you're listening to this podcast, you can still download it. Most of the information in there will work for any professional services business, and you're welcome to download that too. Thank you so much for tuning in to Talking Content. If you found today's episode helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and until next time, happy content creating.